As recently as February, it would be reported that if the Jazz were to trade Lauri Markkanen, that they would have to get an untouchable back in return. Untouchables are players like Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, and Zion Williamson. When I saw this report, I thought to myself, why not just say that you don't want to trade the guy? That would be easier because as good as Lauri is, there's no way that anybody on this planet was giving up an untouchable for him. If you're trading for a player like Lauri, you're looking to get your untouchable some elite help. You're not really looking to give said untouchable away. While I wouldn't give away an untouchable to get Lauri, I would give away just about anything else, and so would a lot of teams in the NBA, and Danny Ainge knows this, which is why with Lauri entering the final year of his 4-year $67 million deal, Danny Ainge is now staring down the opportunity to cash in on yet another great investment. Rumor has it that the Jazz are now open to receiving a Mikal Bridges type of package for Lauri Markkanen. For reference, 4 first-round picks, a top 4 protected pick, an unprotected pick swap, a second-round pick, and Bojan Bogdanovic are what it took to pry Bridges away from Brooklyn. Danny Ainge probably saw that trade go through and turned his cap back like Ash Ketchum. Personally, I've always been terrified by what a potential package for Lauri might look like, because Lauri is that good and Ainge is a mastermind when it comes to finessing. This man turned Rudy Gobert into Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverley, Leandro Balmaro, Jared Vanderbilt, Walker Kessler, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and an unprotected first-round pick swap. He got so much back for Gobert that people were calling the Rudy Gobert trade one of the worst of all time when it went down. This man also turned Donovan Mitchell into Colin Sexton, Ochai Agbaji, Lauri Markkanen, 3 unprotected first-round picks, and 2 unprotected first-round pick swaps. Then, don't get me started on what this man did to the Brooklyn Nets. Danny Ainge can smell desperation from a mile away. This guy has a history of getting maximum value out of his players, and now he's presented with the opportunity to do it again. Some surprising teams are laying it all on the line for Lauri, and we have to talk about them. But first, today's content is brought to you guys by the people who've been making sure that I've been staying entertained throughout all this madness all off season. Underdog Fantasy. For those of you who don't know, Underdog Fantasy is the best and easiest way to play daily fantasy. Signing up is super simple and submitting an entry is even easier. And right now, when you sign up using code COOP, not only can you get a first-time deposit bonus for up to $250, but you can also get a special limited time bonus square. Don't sleep on that bonus square. If I had used this bonus square over Kyrie scoring 23.5 points, I would be $500 richer. Guys, remember code COOP to support the channel and follow me on IG at GETLIKECOOP to see my picks before they happen. Thank you, Underdog, for the sponsor. So with the Jazz now being open to trading Lauri Markkanen, the Lauri Markkanen sweepstakes would officially be open for business, with the bidders having only one job: blow away the guy who has been behind some of the most sinister heists of all time, Danny Ainge. One team that has been overly persistent in their attempt to blow away the Utah Jazz has been the Golden State Warriors, the team that just lost Klay Thompson and the team that also missed out on Paul George, despite allegedly going all in for him too. It's actually been reported that the Clippers didn't just reject one Paul George trade package, they rejected multiple of them. In my book, they get an A for effort. Klay Thompson's departure, along with the current stature of the Warriors, would leave a hole that DeAnthony Melton, Kyle Anderson, and even Buddy Hield wouldn't be able to fill by themselves. And yes, a full Buddy Hield breakdown will be coming to the channel soon, so be sure to subscribe with noties so that you don't miss it. For those who were worried about the Warriors' moves messing with their chances at Lauri, John Hollinger states that the Hield and Anderson deals would have nearly no impact on a potential deal for Lauri getting done. If the Warriors ultimately end up backing out, it would be on their own merit. It's sort of surreal to see the Warriors in scramble mode now, trying to make the most of the tail end of Curry's career when they were so dominant for so long. For a quick refresher, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green against all odds went to 6 NBA Finals, won 4 titles, played 721 games, and went 5-18 and 203 for those games, good enough for a .718 win percentage. That is wild. And what is even more wild is that this trio, which tormented the league for so long, is no longer together. I mean, Steph Curry and Draymond Green are still there, but at this moment in time, Klay Thompson is left for what he views as greener pastures in Dallas. We will have a full video breaking down Klay Thompson leaving the Mavericks soon, so be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss it. With the Klay Thompson era coming to an end and with Paul George opting to sign with Philadelphia, the Warriors would pivot their attention to adding some depth and going all in on Lauri Markkanen. I use air quotes here because while it would be reported that the Warriors were all in on Paul George, it's reported that they also refused to include Kuminga in any deal for him. Something that you would think would change for Markkanen, despite reports out there saying that it hasn't. But the Warriors really do love Kuminga that much, and it's hard to blame them. The 6'7" swingman Kuminga is coming off of a monster season where he averaged 16.1 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 2.2 assists, while shooting 52.9% from the field at just 21 years old. If trade talks were to reach a stalling point between these two parties, the athletic Kuminga could end up being the piece that pushes it through. If the Warriors were able to acquire Lauri without paying that out-of-galaxy price of including Kuminga, then some nasty conversations would have to be had. But even if they did the unthinkable, paying the forsaken price that Ainge would be asking for, Steph, Draymond, and Lauri would be an insanely fun trio to pair up with some of the Warriors' new additions. I'm not saying that I would do it, but Lauri himself fixes a lot of the Warriors' problems. He brings size, standing at 7 feet tall. He brings scoring, averaging 23.2 points this season. He brings a devastating deep ball, taking 8 threes a game and knocking down 39.9% of them. And he's a phenomenal low-volume off-ball player who would thrive in their system. When I say low volume, what I mean by that is that Lauri does not need 50 touches to get going. He can get his own naturally within the flow of the offense. Honestly, Lauri fixes the problems of a lot of teams and makes others just a nightmare to even think about. The Kings, Spurs, Timberwolves, and Pelicans are some of the other teams who've expressed interest in trading for Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen and Zion Williamson on the same team is what movies are made of. I wanted the Pelicans to buy low and trade for Lauri more than I wanted anything at one point in time. Don't believe me? Just look at your screen. Here I am in 2020 asking the Pelicans to just toss some assets at Lauri. Here I am politely asking the Bulls to free Lauri. Here I am politely asking Woj to tweet that Lauri would be joining the Pelicans. What makes me sick is that at one point in time, Lauri was 150% obtainable for the Pelicans for pennies on the dollar. 3 years ago, the Bulls were desperate for Lonzo Ball. And as this desperation was going on, they were trying to shop Lauri. The Bulls eventually ended up getting Lonzo Ball. We did not eventually end up getting Lauri. David Griffin, you got us DeJounte Murray without giving up BI, so we're cool now. But I still have not forgot about that one. Zion Williamson with an athletic big like Lauri that can shoot would send the Pelicans offense into another stratosphere. In the comments below, let me know where you guys think that Lauri would be the deadliest. Would him and Zion make noise out west? Maybe you like the thought of him teaming up with Curry as he nears the end of his career. Or maybe you just want pure destruction and want to see him joining Wembanyama in San Antonio. Red alert, guys, I am seriously terrified of the Spurs. We have a video on them coming out soon too, where you guys will learn exactly how scared of them I am. Guys, let me know what you think of everything down in the comments below. There's some more NBA news that I need to be covering, so I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.